Remember, Jess, this is on your channel, so shut the fuck
Oh.
up.
Oh, where'd you go? Uh-oh. Okay, so I guess I'm the only one here. Okay, so we've been having technical difficulties, and apparently, well, actually, Alicia's been having technical difficulties. I know NB is right next to me, but he's grabbing a beer. So we're here to talk about the Orville, and yeah. So this episode was this episode was a brand new episode that came out, Mortality Paradox, and it was about it was about the crew. Seemingly, they find a planet that's supposed to be desolated, and apparently it's not desolated. Suddenly, it's like there's like a whole society there or whatever. So they go down to explore it, but when they go down to explore it, it's just like empty forests. Ah, here we go. She's back.
Finally. Okay, I had to improvise, folks. Sorry about that, everyone.
All right, so I'll let you take over.
Now you can go fine. You're fine, my darling. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Sorry about the delay. We were having a little bit technical issues with StreamYards. So yes, we're reviewing.
I'm back. After I grabbed my beer, I decided I had to gelogia.
That's fine, Jess. But yeah, this episode, Mortality Paradox, the third episode in season 3.
Can I just say one thing? This was like Twilight Zone level, and I'm talking classic Twilight Zone level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm gonna go with it whenever it gets my turn.
Sure, that's fine. It was a lot of Twilight Zone feels to it for sure. There was Twilight Zone. There was a lot of horror film genre in it as well. And there was even a little bit of humor, a teeny bit. But we also got some previous episodes mentioned in this episode with Firestorm, with the fears of falling into a dark void kind of thing. There was also dealing with falling into where you're dealing with these kind of bullies, these eggs, where you so-called die. Oh, a lot happened. And we also got a little bit of a cue.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I got the Q vibe.
Yeah,
You got that Q vibe. You can't watch that and say, "Oh, that wasn't kind of a Q vibe."
It was also the gamekeeper from Stargate SG-1. There was played by Dwight Schultz. He did a lot of that messing around with people's heads kind of thing too, as well.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I noticed that her attitude when she was explaining all of this to them
Yes.
was like to her it was like a game. It felt like a game to her.
Yes.
Whereas like from Ed's perspective, it was like you terrorized us.
Yeah,
you
basically.
made us think we were gonna die.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
you guys want me to? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Jesse.
No, no. I was gonna think about this. The ultimate thing of some idea is immortality. Like that is the end all goal.
Mm-hmm.
But as she stated, we become, I mean, for lack of a better term, they become complacent and apathetic. They've reached a point where they don't see a need to go anymore and they can't die. So, and I'm guessing based on the way that shit was going on, they can't necessarily be killed by conventional means that we would know of. So, their whole point was to experience the fear of death, the idea of death, because they can't do that. And that actually harkens back to Voyager. Remember that episode where this entire species managed to outlaw bad thoughts? And
Mm-hmm.
there was a black market for. I just now thought of that.
Nice.
They are literally looking for a black market, and as far as they are concerned, well, they're just useful idiots to do with what they want.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And whereas, 50,000 years or so back, their time, their people were worshiping Kelly.
Yes, this is 50,000 years later. I wrote down in my
Yeah.
notes.
And she did, she did
No,
apologize for
no,
that
wait,
in the
wait, wait,
show.
wait, 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 wait. Let's think. What was it? 50,000 years from that episode,
Yes, it
from when
was.
they first started, or 50,000 years after the episode?
I think it was after that episode.
Yeah,
Mad
that's
Episode.
what I thought too.
Right.
That's what I thought too.
Right. But, yeah, so like uh, they were worshiping her because they didn't know any better. And now they've surpassed her and all the technology and everything. So now they're I don't know, like that was a weird thing, I
It
would
was.
say.
They were acting almost like a childlike phase when she was saying, "Oh, we were just wanted to see how you would react," kind of thing. Because you could tell, getting back to that cube vibe. Because the thing is, when their scanners were saying one thing, but then when they're looking in front of them, it doesn't match up.
Hmm.
Because they said there's the civilization that they were saying that there's like 8.5 billion people on the planet's surface. But the thing is, when they go down to the planet's surface, there's maybe 100 to 1,000 people at the max. But then when she ends the quote scenario, we find out no, it's just her just playing with their heads, kind of thing.
Hmm.
So yep,
Well,
no
you
praise
know,
Kelly no more. No, but they had stopped praising Kelly with I.
one of the things was I know a lot of people were talking about the high school part of it being too long. What I want to say is when they were trying to figure out the fears and the apps and what would fear them or scare them to death, basically, or make them think they were close to dying. Um, well, think about it. He watches a lot of 20s and 21st century stuff. Actually, mostly 20s. I don't think he actually I've ever seen him watch a 21st century movie or show. So yeah, I mean, it made sense that the high school would look kind of 90s style,
Right.
and the way the
Mm-hmm.
kids talked, yeah, that was pretty 90s too. By the way, you know what Bortus reminds me of? Tusk
What?
from Deep Space Nine. And the reason why I say
Oh,
that is because they are so they are such natural straight men that what they say even sounds funny. But they don't seem to grasp humor worth a shit. And that's
Like-
what I love about them.
Like when Claire goes, "You might get the sniffles," and the Bortus replies, "I am prepared." Very
Exactly.
straightforward, very dry, but it was funny. It was still funny because
He says it so straight laced. Yes, exactly. Or he
Yeah.
said he said I'm working on my A game, or I'm working on my
No, he said
Summer
he was
body.
working
summer body or something like that, beach body or something like that.
his beach body. Yes, his beach body. God, I gotta work on my beach body because I got a jiggle body. Because you know what? Everybody wants a 6-pack. Well, I got probably a keg, maybe slightly a keg.
I mean, I got a beach body. It's a beach ball body, but it's a beach body.
It depends by whose standards, right?
Right.
Hey, you know what? I've always said this, and I'm going to be the honest, and I'm not going to ask you guys what works for you. I'm going to tell you what works for me. The face. If I'm attracted to the face, everything after that is workable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a problem for me. If I'm attracted to this, yeah. Not myself, obviously.
You better
I can picture just looking in the mirror.
No, I am not. I am not that guy from Anchorman. I look good. I mean, real good.
Well, your point, Chloe. I think Gordon knows about 21st century stuff because let's go back to that episode, Lasting Impressions. There was a lot of stuff that happened that was going on in the 21st century and that era and stuff like that he still probably remembered from going through her phone records and stuff like that. So he probably knew about Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's why Gordon knows about the stuff like that. So yes, exactly. I just said that, Chloe. You're like 2 seconds behind me. But yes, that's why I think he has.
I would say both Gordon and Ed have that like that 21st century like nostalgia going on for both of them.
Exactly.
Kelly too. Kelly's a Journey fan.
True.
Yes.
Well, I think the reason why Kelly is kind of like that is because like she was married to Ed, so
Right.
like she picked up on some of that stuff. Like there's an episode where she moves one of her eyes or weird or whatever.
Yes.
Taught me how to do
No,
that.
you know what? I would disagree with you on that only because of that episode where we got a young Kelly, the fun Kelly or the young Kelly or whatever you want to, and
7
she
years
was a party, and she was a party animal. I think actually that was actually the episode I really liked because it really highlighted something that I was thought. My wife and I, you know how you know the paradox. Everybody says, "Oh, I wish I met you first." Yeah, but the problem is, I've told my wife. I said, she goes, "Do you wish you met me first?" I said, "No." I said because you would not have liked me at that point in my life, and I would not have liked you. You know, everything turns. Probably the only song I know by that fucking group.
The Birds. Yes, I understand that reference.
So like from the high school thing, Gordon gets jumped in a bathroom. By the way, like I have a feel I could be totally wrong because like his name's not on the credits for it or anything, but I think Tom Constantino was one of the bullies.
It's a very good.
You're not the only one who thought maybe that was Tom.
Yeah, I looked again, and I'm pretty sure it looks like him. So you know, it looks
Well,
like
maybe you should ask him because you're probably on better terms with him than I am.
probably. He answered one of my questions today about the plane actually.
Oh
Um,
yes.
so he's been putting out a lot of behind the scenes stuff as the episodes come out, and
Yeah, I've seen that.
so today he put out like footage of like the front of the plane, the cockpit, and so I've read I've when I saw that scene, I did wonder whether or not they brought a whole fuselage inside of this soundstage,
Hmm.
because I've read about people doing people doing that for movies and stuff like that, and so I was wondering that, and then like he puts out this video which it just shows the front of the plane, so I was like, oh okay, it's just the cockpit is what they put in there. But then Tom responded is like, actually it's the whole thing. I'll send more pictures later or something like that.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I guess they did put a whole fuselage inside the sound stage, which
One
that's got to
thing
be a bitch to do.
Yes.
one thing I like is oh god, the pilot.
Old wounds.
Huh?
You mean the first show?
Gordon.
Oh,
Thank you.
Gordon.
Oh, okay.
No, when Gordon is in that pilot area and he's hearing the whole thing, and then when one of them talks about lightning hitting the plane, he goes, "Well, that used to happen on the." It really actually exposed that he's actually very smart, but and I don't mean a but in a bad way. I mean he's kind of got the tunnel vision.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. I
Yes.
mean, when it comes to piloting, he's like I'm not worried about the lightning. That's fine, but he's like, we're dipping, we're going high, we're going low, and I thought that was really because the point
Right,
of
because
yeah,
they were he was trying to find they were trying to find the turbulent spots.
yeah,
Right.
When it got smooth, that's when they would. Yeah, you're right.
And they were deliberately leading them through the danger zones instead of leading them out. They
That's
were
why
just
that's why Gordon got worried.
yeah, exactly. And I just thought each of those, and when I found out, uh, oh shit, what's the Slayton's name now? The one who's
Tala.
the
Hala?
Nala. Do you know how I figured out she was the antagonist in all this? When I realized right afterwards, she said, "Oh, I saw that thing."
Right.
The out of your body. But I'm like,
But you didn't see her eyes change.
That's true.
exactly,
That's
fucking exactly. That was the moment I was like, "Oh, there's something wrong with her." Because she's saying it, but
I did
we
note that.
felt with every other
good point.
character but her.
I did note that, but I wasn't really sure what it meant at that time. Now I do.
Yeah, and it happened so fast. That's true. That's true because all their eyes. But yeah, good point, Jess. Good point. Yes, exactly. Because their eyes do sort of look like they're possessed. Each one of them.
Yeah, the moment they think they're about to die, that's when they share that moment, and then that's when their eyes go weird.
It
But
is.
yeah, but like I said, Talia was the only one who said I saw it, but I was like,
And
wait a minute, we didn't see your eyes do that.
and then when suddenly like you're on the ship and you're in the middle of a Kalon attack or something like that, and suddenly like Lamar is back on the bridge, and she's flying back in, and they're like, wait a minute, we already picked you up. I got really confused at that point.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's not. Whoa.
But that was the point where I was like, so if that's Talia, that other one's got to be something else.
Exactly.
And then plus the ID, because her eyes didn't change. So
Good point. So yeah, obviously something was not quite right with her for sure. But yeah. But
I'm
yeah,
actually surprised I caught that. I thought I was losing my edge.
Well, because I mean, they just showed Kelly. Yeah, they
Yeah,
just showed her eyes.
exactly.
Yeah,
right,
But she came out and said she saw it, and she said she saw it before Kelly.
right.
right.
Yes, but they didn't show
And
it.
that's what I'm like, but wait a minute. We didn't see your eyes change. I saw Kelly's eyes change, but
Hmm.
not yours. I'm sorry, but I'm old school here. You tell me somebody's dead on the show. If I don't see a body, they ain't dead. They ain't dead.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. But yeah, that Randall, the bully, that was kind of a shocker twist to find out that Randall was actually this Godzilla monster creature kind of thing. Freaky. That was
Right.
definitely,
That was that was strange.
it was.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was a little okay. I'm gonna give one criticism is when they said, "Oh, well, this is obviously a simulation." How do you know? Well, we're on Celea, and they talked about gravity, but I'm like,
I mean, it was a good point.
Exactly. Because,
yeah, that was a good point. Don't get me wrong, but
hmm,
here's the thing here's the one flaw I can't figure out. If this is a desolate climate and this is a hollow projector, how do you replicate the environment completely like that? And I'm talking the temperature, the heat, the humidity.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah,
Sorry, I
I couldn't
hate to
tell
be
you.
a dick.
I couldn't tell you. But I would say that, hey, like if they're 50,000 years ahead of like where they were last time we saw them, then perhaps, and they're immortal now, something that we still can't figure out. So perhaps maybe they could have figured it out. But then again,
all I could
sometimes
figure, all I
sometimes
could figure,
people miss stuff.
they
That's it.
just, they were just,
I'm gonna bow to that. I'm just gonna bow to that.
That's I mean it's a good point though.
it
No,
is.
it is a good point.
Because they've
No,
obviously advanced enough where they can do stuff like that. Obviously, yes. Because the fact that you can tell she doesn't look like the people that was there the last time, for sure.
Right.
well, let me give you a little bit of an example. Um, I'm a Christian, but I'm a very controversial one
Hmm.
because my views on Yahweh tend to not please people because I've actually said some things that really annoyed people, and I made the fodder comment where I said maybe God has a sense of humor. And if you want the full story, we'll do it offline, but we're not going to do it here because this ain't the right place.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No,
Okay.
absolutely. But it was. Oh my gosh! Can I say this? The lighting was beautiful on the ship.
Yep.
Oh my god. The visuals, whether they were CGI or whether they were anime,
Live action.
yes, thank
But
you, live action. Was very seamless. Unlike what I saw in Strange New Worlds where it was very obvious it was all CGI.
hmm
Now, I get
Well,
that they
what happened to their CGI budget? Because the first couple seasons of Discovery, the CGI was actually pretty good. And then now by the time they get to like the last good effect that they had was when they de-aged Q. You know what I mean? For like 2 seconds.
right.
But then after that, it was like everything else was crap.
It's been
I'm just gonna say this. Uh, I watched Orville, then I watched Strange New Worlds, and I don't know if you guys saw my tweet or not, but I said, I'm done.
I saw that.
I'm yeah, yeah. What the fuck do I care about Spock's sex life?
Yeah.
With hell, a woman I know is going to divorce him
Yeah.
in a mock time,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and I'm done. I'm done with this. This is continuity. It's like
These guys have
no,
no idea. Yeah, they have no idea how
They
to do
contradict
yeah. I was like,
sci-fi and Star
dude,
Trek.
I got 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I do not doubt Vulcan men and women have sex more than once every 7 years.
Sure.
Sure.
I gotta, but yeah, exactly. He's got to have sex at a certain point for the imbalance, but they can still be intimate. It's logical for a lot of reasons. Pleasure is logical, but it was just, it was like we're talking about these two, and I'm like, okay, the way this is going does not match up. Okay, the way that part was going, everything was going with him and Terrain is like, this doesn't match up anywhere with a mock time
Of course not.
at all.
You know why?
Mhm.
Because Strange New Worlds isn't a prequel to TOS. It's a reboot of TOS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shit.
Yep.
And if they had just come out and said that, oh, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
They just don't. They won't admit it because I think they won't admit it because when they admitted that the Kelvin timeline was a different timeline,
Right.
it was never it was never as popular as it. Yeah, that version of Star Trek never became as popular as they wanted it to be, even though the first movie made like $500 million or something like that.
What did you? Can I ask you guys something real quick? What did you think about the new opening?
Of the Orville,
Yeah,
it's great. I got to see that in IMAX, actually.
it does not look so. I made I sent a tweet and I was like,
It,
eh,
like if they had,
the
you know what it
the
reminds me of?
Orville, just their visuals, especially in space, are
Specifically,
just beautiful.
yeah, specifically, what it reminds me of that the especially this opening is like a better version of the Voyager theme,
Yes.
where it's like, okay, by the where'd she go? Well, by the time she'll be back. By the time they, the first like few Star
Oh,
Treks, it was just like black space with some stars, and then there's a ship. It wasn't until Voyager when they were like, hey, let's put some cool stuff in the back. Let's put some nebulas. Let's put some planets. Cool stuff in the background. And then what I feel like they took that version of the theme, like made it their own, and then of course they redid the music, which they made the music like in the first two episodes or two seasons, they sound very epic. It sounds very epic, like almost like a TNG epic type of feeling. But this one, this third one, it doesn't feel as epic, but it feels very optimistic.
this third one, I think, is a paradox question.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We said it earlier. We asked about, would you want to live forever? And we all kind of agreed on some were thinking no. But there was something to be said about their culture advancing so far that death is out of their reach,
Hmm.
but yet they're so advanced that's out of their reach. So they're going to lesser species to get the experience of death,
Hmm.
to get the concept of it, get the fear of it. And we've had many Star Trek episodes. Actually, Voyager comes to mind a lot in this one. Remember, like I said, you had that species that banned, that were telepathic and banned scary thoughts. So they black marketed them out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, I found it to have a very Twilight Zone kind of feel to it. Uh, I, I was actually rather surprised at how the season's gone. The humor has kind of somewhat evaporated. That said, as someone who has, as you and I have been in the military, sometimes when you're just out of a shit show like they were, humor kind of takes a backdrop.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who like the first two seasons. Like, so a lot of them were talking about, well, what happened to the humor? Like, the first two seasons were funny. What happened? Why is this one not so funny? I think they've already explained why it's not as funny, and it's specifically because, like, it was never meant to be a comedy. It was actually meant to be a sci-fi drama with probably a little bit of lighthearted comedy, but not to the point where, like. And what happened was Fox, who Seth was employed with at the time, was like, okay, we like to do this, but we want to add all your comedy to it, and so
Remember,
that's what they did. But now that he's no longer with Fox, that show's no longer with Fox, they can kind of they're kind of free to do what they want now,
Hmm.
which is why it's changed. I mean, one
remember, oh, sorry, but remember when we all three, we talked about this a while back, um, that in the very beginning of Orville, the comedy kind of was a little over the top, a little, out there. But then as the episodes started to grow during the first season, the humor became more organic. And then
yes,
by season two, it really started to be like the humor just became like, yeah, that's something like you and I would say in a fucking situation like that.
right,
And I
Hmm.
think in the moment in this third season, they just got out of uh, obliteration.
Hmm.
So I'm sorry, but I've been in some shit moments, some bad times too. And at that point, even the most silly of us are like, okay, no, humor's not going to help me right now. In fact, it's going to, the one thing that normally will release your tension when it is the moment when laughter will actually piss you off, that is when we are really screwed. Does that make sense?
okay,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, so like they didn't, yeah, so like this season doesn't have as much humor. It's a lot more subtle, but I do
Yes.
but I do think it's a lot more natural because I'll be honest. So the very first scene of the very first episode of the pilot, you know what I'm talking about, where Ed comes in, it catches Kelly with what's his name,
Julio.
Gerulio, and then he, like, all over the place, right?
Yep.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that scene. I mean, I knew what they were trying to do and get at and everything, but I thought it was I thought for a sci-fi show that was over the top.
Yeah, it was too cliche.
It was, yeah, it was a little too over the top, and it was a little too Seth MacFarlane Family Guy comedy.
Right.
Like, that was extra. But then after that, like, I mean, after the first episode, or after that first scene, actually,
Hmm.
it toned down a little bit, and then, like, the next real funny parts are, like, the character moments when, like, Lamar and Gordon meet, or when Kelly comes onto the ship and Ed's like no, and he runs down the hall. You
Right,
know what I mean?
crashes in the Yaphet. Yes.
That type of stuff, and that's how you meet Yaphet. Um, so like it got better, and then as I said, by the third episode about a girl, I that's where they got into their groove. It took them 3 episodes to get into their groove.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I would agree.
That's true. I mean, yeah, the humor this season, you have to look for the nuggets. That's why I'm saying it. You have to look for it. Basically, if you don't look for it, you're gonna miss it. You blink and it just goes away. But like with
Yeah.
the chocolate scene at the beginning, that was a little bit humorous.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the fears and stuff, it got a little bit scary. Honestly, it get a little bit scary, especially with that zombie like thing with the Mocklins. That was
Right,
a little
right.
freaky.
Yeah.
I will say that I will say this. I do hope that they, they don't make a habit of the cursing.
Right.
Like for some reason, it's just pull. I mean, for some reason, like in a way of like it can pull you out of the story if it's not done
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it can get
Um,
distracted.
the-
Yes.
The first episode of season 3 when Marcus says like this is bullshit because he's mad about Isaac.
Right.
It felt very natural because he's a teenager and he's being
Sure.
rebellious. And and like I have kids, I have teenagers who cuss all the time. So it made sense. I mean, Ed being mad, when the stairs come and then Ed is like, we're done with this bullshit. I was like, I don't know about that.
I'm going to counter you on that. I'm going to counter you in that because that was his point of saying, yo, we're fucking done, bitch. We ain't playing the game no more. We are fucking done.
Right.
And he
It
said,
just, for some reason, when he said bullshit, it just kind of pulled me out of the story for a minute.
Right. It sounded like
well,
Seth
think
talking
about
it.
okay, well, that didn't pull me out of the story because it made sense to me. It's like, stop with your bullshit is basically saying things. He's like, look, stop fucking with me and let's get it over with.
Right.
I
I remember he did say something like either kill us or let us go or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what I saw of that moment.
I think for me, it's like it's the same type of criticism when I criticize like Discovery for saying bullshit or shit or fuck or whatever, all the time.
No, that's
it's like
different.
Good point, Jeff B. Yes, it's like what Jeff B says is boom, bitch. Yep, it's like that. Mm-hmm. That's
I mean, boom. I don't know. For some reason, like, bitch doesn't bother me, especially when it's done like that. Like boom. I don't know why. That was my favorite boom. To be honest, was when he went boom, bitch, and like.
No, they
had to calm him down.
They have established. You know what the whole thing is? They have established in Orville that certain curse words are still prevalent.
Sure.
Whereas we had from 66 to 05, and the only curse words I recall ever hearing in the era were shit and damn. Okay. The first time I heard the word fuck in Star Trek, I was like, nope, oh God.
Tilly, Jesus Christ, why did you have to do that to Tilly? She was a good character in the first season. And then they just messed her up.
Yikes. Fortunately, Orville has not done that. They've gotten better each time though.
Yes.
No, yeah, they've done really good.
You're right, Jeff B. The fucking line was very unnecessary in Picard. I remember, that was just like when the moment she did that. I remember I was like, that's a meme. So I that's when I like went back. I turned on the captions, to where, you know, when she says it, the sheer fucking hubris, like you see it in the captions, and I screen capped it and I turned it into a meme.
No, I knew
Hey,
you would.
hey, I have a question. We're 3 episodes in now. What do you think of the new character?
Charlie, she's
Charlie,
decent.
yeah.
Okay,
She's
so
decent.
I'm a little biased because I actually got to meet her. Um,
You
but
did.
Oh, really? What?
You did.
you didn't.
From was she on a prior show?
No, you do know you do know that I got invited to see the premiere in IMAX, right?
Oh, that's right.
And then afterwards there was a Q&A where it had
Yeah, that's
Henry
right. I
Johnson,
remember you
David A.
took.
Goodman, and this new girl. Um,
All
what's her name
right,
again?
I
Something Winter.
remember.
Ann Winters. Ann Winters is her name. So
I
so here's the thing. When I saw the episode, it was the premiere episode, so it was the one where she's like distrusting of Isaac. I mean, she was very angry in that episode, right? And I mean, and rightfully so, because her friend died during that Kalon attack and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like at first, like I wanted to like her. I just hope that they lighten her up a little bit over time. I do know that in this episode, this new episode, um, she does the same thing. She talks crap about Isaac, but that's not real. That wasn't reality. That was like their simulation.
yeah,
Right. So I can like forgive that. So like it was really one of those strange things because like for some reason because I know why is because my introduction to this person to this character is this angry character, right? But then when she comes out, here comes this tiny little skinny little ball of happiness and joy that just like she's just very like giddy and happy about being on the show and everything.
but you know what? You know what this actually showed is that this actually shows. I don't think people really touched on it, but it shows bigotry.
Yes.
Well,
Now,
that was the
now,
point.
no, wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna say this. I believe there is justifiable bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we could all agree certain ideologies, one of them is starting with NN, probably not a good thing to support.
Possibly.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing at the end, the whole thing is, it's just, I thought it was good.
Okay, good question. Okay, good, Jack.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I don't blame Charlie for hating Isaac because Isaac did a terrible thing,
Right.
and it caused like her friend's death and everything. She has a legitimate reason to be angry.
Yes.
I just hope that over time, like maybe there's an episode where like they get stuck together and they got to like cooperate and work together and get along in order to get out.
Well, one of the things is, remember, she only knows the Kalons destroying her ship. She wasn't there on the Orville when he saved. I'm sorry, I don't remember which kid he's. Ty, thank you. Yeah, and in all honesty, when you look at and actually I really like the way Isaac's face is because it's so plain and the way he talks, it fits so well because he's like, yes, I've experienced hatred. And then
he doesn't even understand it though. Like that was
yeah,
one of the
he
things,
doesn't
like
understand it.
It doesn't really bother because it doesn't really bother him.
Right.
It's more of a curiosity to him than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was why I thought him committing suicide. You notice how Claire is flipping out on him
Yeah.
after she resurrects him, and Isaac is Isaac really doesn't grasp
Mm-hmm.
the concept of loss.
He doesn't understand why she's upset that he did that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And that's a beautiful moment. I mean, that's Star Trek. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I thought this episode was. Some people said this episode put it back on Star Trek's radar. I was like, okay, no, I'd say more Twilight Zone, Outer Limits for
Mm-hmm.
this episode.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. This episode was very Twilight Zone-ish.
Yes.
Definitely, I can agree with that. I do think, when I saw the preview for the next episode coming up,
Yes.
that gave me some Star Wars vibes. To be honest,
Yes. Especially when they're exploring that. Yes.
Like like the way for something about it just reminds me of Star. I think it could be like a combination of the music and then just exploring, like, the ship like flying through the city. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Maybe the lighting too was a thing that tipped you off too.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey! I have a question for you two. What do you prefer? The old shuttle design or the new design?
I like the new design. I like them both, but I like the new design better. Like I think it fits more people.
Yes.
And I like the style. It just looks more style. It looks so like it's like Krill inspired design.
Yes. It's very sleek.
Oh God, we trifecta. We all said the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it did. It does have kind of a Krill design look to it, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I did have this idea that maybe perhaps the reason why they have a new shuttlecraft or whatever is because the Krill and the Union are they're not exactly enemies anymore. They're starting to work together and cooperate. So they're starting to share technology, and then that's like the result of some of that.
Yeah, I think so because they had signed that pact back in Cupid's Dagger. No, sorry, Blood of Patriots. Blood of Patriots.
Yes, Blood of Patriots. Yeah.
And they basically so maybe that was the early stages of them to start doing. And then when they did the things in the final episode with the Krill, with identity stuff like that, I think that helped cinch it, saying let's help share our tech with them and make an alliance with them. And maybe that's why they want to be part of the Union now.
Right. I agree. That's probably what it is. Oh, by the way, we're still on the topic of the Orville, but it's not about the show. So there's a prop auction that's about to go off within the next few days, like this major prop auction.
Yes.
And I've shown Alysia some of the stuff that they're auctioning off. They're auctioning off a Gizmo from Gremlins 2. They're auctioning off like one of Edward's Scissorhands from Edward Scissorhands. But one of the things that like they also are auctioning off a few Orville things. One of them is Bordis's like cowl, I would call it. His like screen used cowl.
Skull cap.
The hood thing that he wears that over his makeup,
because like it's like this is a separate piece, this is a separate piece, and then this whole head is a separate piece, and it's just this head part that they're selling, and it's like $3,000 they're selling it for.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like thousands of dollars. They got two green medical uniforms. I don't remember how much they were selling those for. But the coolest thing that they had Orville wise was it's lot 265 if you're that interested. And by the way, if somebody who watches this actually does buy this, please let us know because we'd like to check it
We'd
out.
love to. I'd love to talk to you and see you with your.
Or yeah, like yeah, we can do like a live stream and you can show it off or something. But yeah, whoever buys this, come contact us. But Isaac's uh, head, Isaac's like light up head. It's a hero version from like the first two seasons. That was actually worn by Mark Jackson. And the eyes light up blue. Um, there's actually little fans inside of the mask, and then of course like there's a little double A battery slot for the eyes and everything, and
Yes.
well the eyes and the fans. So that way like he doesn't Mark doesn't like fry up when he's in there.
Yes. It doesn't overheat his face, I guess.
So they estimate. Well, so far the first there's been one bid on it, and that bid is for $6,500
Yeah. It's crazy the price.
for Isaac's head. It is a hero. It is the hero version, so it's not like a stunt thing. It's like the one
Right.
that was mostly used. And they estimate that it's going to sell for $8,000 to $12,000.
So yeah, I will show you guys the inside of the head because I have it on my phone.
Oh, where'd you go? You like froze up.
Did I?
I hear. I just heard you, but I like visually you froze up.
That's weird. Okay, so let me.
I have an idea. Hold on, give me a second. I have an idea. I'll just share my screen
Good
because
idea.
I have it up.
Good idea.
All right. It's on the share thing.
I see it.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah. All right. Well. Yep, there she goes. Okay, so technical difficulty.
What?
Yeah, she disappeared again. All
I
right, well,
didn't do it.
but yeah, so like I thought it was really cool.
Wait,
Like
there she is.
they got Mark Jackson's head
Yes, there it is.
or Isaac's head. So this is the page I screen capped for the lot. It's Isaac's head. And it lights up, and if you've got maybe 10 grand, you can probably buy it. Now the inside of his head.
I just spent 9 grand on plumbing and 100 or 1,000 on plumbing. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is for people who have crazy buku bucks that like they don't know what to do with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, this is the inside of his head here. The inside of the back of his head is what it actually is. You see there's a AA battery in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 2 fans on the sides.
Which is cool.
Yeah. So and by the way, there's more. There's more to it than that. They got, like as I said, they have the Edward Scissorhands. They've got that from Johnny Depp wore. They got
A Back to the
what else
Future
they got?
car.
No, they got Cockknocker's hand that was actually worn by Mark Hamill and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And that one's pretty cheap. Like they estimate it'll probably sell for 3,500. That's pretty cheap. I could, to be honest, I probably could afford that. Oh, we got
you're on a stream with your fiance. I don't think you want to say that.
I'm saying I'm saying that I'm saying I have the money, but I'm not going to
your brother.
but I'm not going to spend it because I've got like
No, he's not that foolish, folks. My fiance is not that foolish.
No, I was telling her though, like if I had enough money to where it was like, well, I don't know what to do with this money. Yeah, I'd be buying this ghost trap for $70,000, and
I told him, yeah, we'd be eating ramen noodles for the rest of our life, practically.
oh this is the friggin' end all be all right here. Gizmo from Gremlins 2, the new batch. It's the hero one. It's the animatronic puppet, and it has all of its animatronics still attached. So but like I wouldn't move it. I wouldn't be trying to puppeteer it.
No,
because of how old it is. But it's so well preserved. I saw Adam Savage did a tested thing on this, like where he showed it, and it's so well preserved. And yeah, it looks like they're estimated it's going to sell for $80,000 to $120,000.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Like,
yeah, we saw the video of it last night. It was intense.
I know. But yeah, that's some crazy money they'll be spending for that.
Yep. The Back to the Future type replica car. Yes.
Yes, there's a replica DeLorean. Yeah. Where's that one? It's down here somewhere.
Right after the Isaac one.
Yeah, here it is. This is a replica DeLorean. It's full size DeLorean, and it's a replica that Universal Studios had built for promotional events, because the actual hero car from the movie at the time was like it needed to be repaired like badly at that time. Which it since has been restored, and now it's like they keep it in glass perpetually in a large glass case now. So yeah, but yeah, so for $200,000 you can get yourself a DeLorean, and it lights up. It all the stuff, like all the little gimmicks and stuff work.
Yes.
But here's the thing, that's only $100,000 that they're estimating. But this hoverboard, they're estimating that it's going to sell for even more, $120,000. Like, oh my God, they're expecting $120,000 for. Okay, for what I actually said was this. This is a prop skateboard without wheels, right? And they're just, if you really want to know, and they're going to make $80,000, $120,000 off of selling it because it was used in the movie once. It was like, oh, actually twice. Yeah, in number 2 and number 3.
Correct.
Yeah, but still, I was just like, damn. Like, I have like a miniature board like that, like a tiny one from like the action figures and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Mattel stuff. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I would be hard pressed to actually spend money on real prop. Like this is something that rich people do. That's what they
exactly. It's people who got more money than brains, and sometimes not always.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, but yeah, I think we got a little bit of foreshadowing going back to the episode.
Yes, I'm sorry, we went out of topic, but
no, that's fine for a little while. So the thing is, I think we got a little bit of foreshadowing because the way this Linda backwards, the way she says her name, however it is, Liz Giles. I think she's gonna be, the way she's talking, she's gonna be back in a future episode. She says, "See you something like in 50,000 years."
Right. I think they will be back. I think this is one of these I I think this is going to be this is going to be the species that determines whether or not the Kalon win.
Right.
I
I
think.
mean, they obviously like mess with people's heads. They really do.
Right, like they won't get it's not going to be they're not going to be that involved Q wasn't really involved with any of what the Borg did other than they introduced them to the Borg.
Right.
I think it's going to be something like that where it's like instead of they're not going to really be involved and then something's going to happen and they're going to realize that well we're gonna side if the union's gonna be destroyed, we're gonna be destroyed or something like that. We're gonna side with the union because we're biological organisms, right? So
Exactly. But yeah, that her name is like Denal. Yes, you're right, Chloe. And like I said, that is Liz Giles. She's typically a singer. She has done acting. She typically sings.
I knew I recognized her.
Yes. Yes. I mean, they did a really good job with her makeup. I'll say that much. They did an incredible job in making her look very futuristic, for sure.
I agree. Like I would like as soon as I saw her, I was starting to question. I was like, is she from that species? And then like she admitted,
right?
Yes,
exactly. She is from there. So okay, but I know that the Mocklins do a lot of stuff with the egg shape because we did it first with the latch cone. We also have when Bortus laid the egg with Topa and everything like that. And now that when they bury their Mocklins, they bury them in these egg-like structures.
That's very true. That I noticed that. Yeah. For an all-male culture, they really value eggs.
They do. They really do. I know when
at least
when they
the egg
open
shape.
Up yes, I know it's one thing that for sure though is that when he opened it up, I don't know. I thought it was Clyden.
I'm pretty sure that was Clyden.
I thought it was Clyden. I can't prove that, but I'm pretty sure that was Clyden because I said, "Is that Clyden?" But
it looked like him. It was just he wasn't dressed like Clyden. It was just like
right, exactly. So I don't know who these. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah. And then the football stuff like that. Oh man, they said, "Oh, that's Randall." I'm thinking, what?
that was random. Not Randall.
I know exactly. It was kind of funny that we were seeing this with the football scene because, so in case you guys didn't know, a couple years ago, back in 2019,
when
there was a rumor with the Orville and stuff like that, and they had these leaked photos from the football field and everything like that. Tom Constantino told us to not leak those photos beforehand. I remember because I told him, "Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to share it and everything like that." And that was when we had the rumors early on that Orville was going to be canceled. That's what started me and Jack with our relationship, basically as a friend kind of thing. He came onto the stream. We debunked the rumors. Here it is, nearly 3 years later. Jack and I are engaged, and here's the episode being released finally.
Well, I mean that's because like it took 3 years. I mean, so. I recently reshared.
You two please get married so I can deal with the fallout. Please get married.
So
yes.
So in 2019,
this is what I want. Don't you want me to do something about it? Yes, I want you two to get married, big babies.
So in 2019, we had a Comic-Con in 2019. That was the last like Comic-Con that happened like during the normal time, right?
Right.
And well, they had a few things. They had a Picard pop-up museum outside of the Comic-Con area, and they also had the Orville experience.
Correct.
Right? So season 2 had just ended, right? They had just finished season 2. And I really wanted to go visit this Orville experience. So I go to where it's supposed to be. And admission is free. And I walk in and there's just like wall to wall, all sorts of stuff you saw from the first 2 seasons. They got the shooting, the filming model of the ship, the model of the Orville ship. It's actually pretty big and very detailed. They got storyboards, they got costumes, they got props, they had those Isaac heads, they had the Bortus mustache, they had Um, they had the tardigrade. I can't remember his name. They had like the whole like costume
Yes, of
tardigrade.
that krill, but that particular krill, yeah, I
You
forgot
could
his name
take a
too.
picture with. So they had all that. They had the head that they stabbed, the krill stabbed in that one
Right.
episode.
Katniss
Um,
Everdeen.
yeah,
Oopsie. Yes.
yeah. So they had all of that stuff, and I filmed all of that stuff. That was 3 years ago, and now we're finally getting to see like season 3 because
Yes,
yeah. So I mean, I that's a long time. That's a
it
long
is.
time.
A
I
long
really
time
hope that
for
season 4 doesn't take that long.
No, 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 no.
And I really do hope that now that we've got like the first 3 episodes out, like they start to like maybe hint at us like what's going to happen in the future
Hmm.
soon. Let us know. Like if you're going to cancel it, just fucking let us know. But
Exactly.
if you're not going if
this
you're not
is
going to,
where that's actually where my son has been like asking me, are they going to cancel it? And I said, we don't know yet. And I
I know.
said, no. Well, here's the thing. They neither Disney does either because Disney obviously owns the majority share of Hulu.
But
Right.
And
at this point, they should know. Like they should have an idea of what they want to do now.
I don't know yet.
I mean,
All
I'd
I'm
hope so. I
saying
mean,
is,
maybe perhaps they haven't had a meeting about it yet. Okay,
Maybe
that's fine.
yeah,
because they need for a
that
break.
is what I'm thinking.
But
Yeah,
I do think at this point they're coming up to some, at least individually, when as board members or whatever the fuck they are, they're coming up to a decision individually.
yeah. Well, what I was thinking was they're gonna see how this plays out. They poured a lot of money into it, which is obvious by the visuals,
Mhm.
which are, I'm gonna be honest, kick the shit out of the current Star Trek.
You should watch it in IMAX. I'm not kidding.
Somebody got spoiled to it.
Beautiful. I After that, I wanted to see every single episode after that in IMAX, but I couldn't.
I know. You got spoiled to it. I know.
I mean, with the sound and everything, it's just like, oof.
But no, I don't think it's going to get canceled either. The fact is that it's number one in at least 2 countries, Australia and then Canada. So it's doing really, really well. So if it can continue here in the States, let's go for it. I think we'll go.
Well, that's the key thing is, like I said, if is a cancel, no, it's being given this shot on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
We have to promote it. We have to keep telling everybody out there, you need to watch the show. Because even if they don't watch the latest out, if they watch the first 2 seasons and those start ratioing in numbers, that's gonna help with the show.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
yeah, that and the first 2 seasons have been out since like they've switched to Hulu. So, um, and I even nowadays I still see people like, oh, like I keep hearing about the Orville, and I started watching a couple episodes, and now I'm hooked.
Exactly.
I keep seeing that type of stuff.
Same here. I do too. But I'm glad. But I will say this: you're never too late to join the Orville squad. Honestly, you are never too late. Join it and enjoy it and
Even,
love it.
and that's true. Even if even if like for some reason they decide, okay, it's not good enough, we're going to cancel it. Keep watching those first 3 seasons. Keep loving it. You know what happened with Family Guy, right? I mean, Seth MacFarlane's first big show, they canceled
Exactly.
that twice.
Mm-hmm. And then they came back because of fans petitioning. So we can do this, folks. We can definitely do this. We've gotten at least on that season 3 trailer. I looked at the ratings the last time. It was at least 6.8 million of us.
It was
whoa!
Yeah, it was more than the people who saw Strange New Worlds.
6.8 million
Views.
on the Nelson rating.
No, we're talking about the
On the views on the YouTube trailer. Let me check that out.
User. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
over 6.8 million views, which was actually more, if I remember, it was actually more than the trailer that Picard got,
Yes.
which was 6.7 million.
So yeah,
I am
Okay.
correct. It is 6.8 million. I just checked it on my phone. It is
Yeah.
6.8 million. So, and it was released last month. Let's get it
Yeah.
higher, folks, as time goes on, and let's let them know. Because every time I watch these episodes, I basically am saying, "I've seen it. You watch it. Keep watching, folks. Let them know you're still interested in it."
Oh yeah, and
All right.
you know,
I'm gonna say
Hulu
this real
Hulu
quick.
has Hulu has a message board. Let them know.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say this. We are starving for good sci-fi content.
I agree,
And
and
I'm
that's why.
talking I'm talking original sci-fi content. This
Mm-hmm.
is good original sci-fi.
Yeah.
Let's keep this going.
Exactly.
I agree.
Let's, yeah.
It totally is. But yeah. But yeah, this was a really good episode. Mortality Paradox. I mean, dealing with fears, someone
Dealing
messing with their
Well,
dealing with
mind.
yeah, someone messing with them like a Q. Someone who's like almost omnipotent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
well,
Exactly.
think about this. Think about the paradox they kind of created without anybody really realizing. We're immortal. We can't die. So we experience the idea of death. But here's where their flaw was. All those deaths were done by fear.
Mm-hmm.
Not all death is fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, as many of us know through our families, are actually very peaceful when they realize my fight is over, my time is done, I'm going to move on from this world. So there were some good points, but there was so much more that could have been in there. And I think it goes to the concept of these advanced beings thinking that only violence is the way to experience death.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. You're right because yeah, I mean, normally when we feel like we're about to experience death, yeah, like normally, yeah, we're afraid because holy crap, our lives are about to end.
Right.
But if you're, if it's something that you're expecting, like if you've got an illness or you're just very old or something like that, and you've kind of come to peace with it. Um,
Right.
yeah, there are people who do, like, when they realize, they go through they go through like the stages of grief, and then they finally have acceptance, and they come to terms with it, they find peace with it. And so when it does happen, it's, there's no fear, I would say. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't,
exactly.
I mean, that's the best. I'm not a fan of, I'm not an expert fan of death, to be honest.
Right. Exactly. But yeah. But yeah, this was a good episode. Any final thoughts, fellas, before we wrap up?
Renew the Orville.
Yes. Exactly.
Reading the Orville, I thought this was an hour of absolute gold. I really
Yep.
did.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Sounds good. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this live stream tonight. We will be back next Friday for the next one. So you guys have a good night. We will see you another time. Good night, everyone.
Good night.